Hello my fellow pod pilots of New Eden, my name is Eddie Rio, this is PvP RoamAntics episode 8. Now I've moved into the Vexor and I quite like the Vexor. I've got a 1600mm plate, damage control, energized adaptive, resist thingy bob, medium armor repairer and a medium ancillary armor repairer, and it's kind of a little bit of an upgrade from the Celestis tank that I had in the previous video. I've also got slaves in, and I'm carrying boosters as well. Not that I took the booster in this fight, that I completely forgot about, but as you can see at the moment I'm just fighting this 4-axe and things are relatively simple, but I'm expecting a vagabond to show up any minute, and then 2 vagabonds come on scan. 1 vagabond appears and I get a good point and scram on him, so I think this is exactly what I wanted, just him. And then all of a sudden an Ishtar also shows up that I didn't know he was going to be coming in. I didn't see him in local earlier, and it's turned into a bit of a shitstorm now. I'm not sure whether I can get out of this, but that's the kind of way you play it with armor tanking. There's no kind of best ways of doing stuff, or this is what you should do now. It's just, you just have to jump into the middle of the fight and see how it goes. There's pretty much no getting out in an armor tank half the time, because you know you're quite slow moving and there's not much you can do. It's kind of very brawling, get in there, you either win or you die, and that's pretty much the only outcomes that you can get. You can try and get out, but it's not normally going to happen. So you know, I got the 4-axe earlier and I've tried to get this vagabond, but it hasn't happened, and the DPS that they were putting on me was just massive, and unfortunately I lost my ship there. But a cruiser for a cruiser isn't bad. So on to the next fight. I'm up against a Rupture and a Scythe Fleet Issue. I should have pointed up the Scythe Fleet Issue because they both landed at 0, but the Rupture came in first, and he obviously wanted me to aggress him first because he's the tank, and you know they play it like that. I'll warp in first, I'll be the tank, and then you can scat around the outside putting on some DPS. So I really should have perhaps waited to point the Scythe instead of the Rupture, but you know I wasn't to know, and you don't always know sometimes in what way it's going to come in. So at the moment it's just brawling it down again, armor tanking, reps running, overheated. This Rupture's got a really good tank as well, so I've got 2 on me here applying a massive amount of DPS. I'm trying to keep my transversal up around this Rupture, but I'm being webbed at the moment and it's not making much difference really, so my speed is so slow. I'm still getting all the damage on me pretty much. There was a point a while back in the fight where I thought I could switch out to the Scythe, but he wasn't in scram range. I think if the Scythe was in scram range, I probably would have switched targets after realising that this Rupture's got a good tank. For some reason my cap booster wasn't reloading properly, and I had to manually reload it, which is a right hassle. But he also gets some sort of jam off on me quickly. I think it was an ECM burst that he had fitted, so I had to relock him at the last minute just to keep the point on him, and luckily he went down. I tried to escape and get away, but I'm already in hull, and that Scythe has managed to kill me. But great little fight there, 2 on 1, really close as well on me just killing that guy before I died, and just a nice simple brawl really. Wasn't too much technicalities that I needed to do in that, just lock it up and start shooting, and that's the sort of the way of the armor tank, I think. Now this next fight I'm with Tabs again, and he's in a Rupture and I'm in a Vexor, and he spotted a Tornado and a Caldari Navy hookbill out at the sun, which is sort of chasing him around a little bit, and he's having a play with the fact that I'm going to warp in and try and get this Tornado. Unfortunately Tabs gets scrammed by the hookbill, and the Tornado manages to apply enough DPS to kill him, but in that time I managed to get the scram off on the Tornado while they were busy killing Tabs, and all I have to do now is sit around this Tornado. He's not applying any DPS to me at the moment because I'm orbiting him really close with my afterburner on, and it's not doing, everything is missing me basically, which is great. And once he's lost his shield tank, he starts dropping really fast. As you see, the hookbill gets a web on me there. As I start to slow down, the tornado actually gets a couple of hits off at me, as well as the hookbill, and starts applying a bit of DPS. So maybe if that hookbill had come in on me a little bit closer, it might have got a bit of a closer fight. But now I try and get this hookbill. I've got him webbed and scrammed, but I think he's got an afterburner and maybe dual web on me because I'm going really slow, and he manages to get away just as he's starting to slip into the armor there. But great little fight, and a tornado for a rupture is a pretty good trade-off, I think. Now this next fight was one of the most fun I've had in ages, just because there was a small little squad of frigs basically that I was going up against, and they properly went for me, which meant that, you know, it became a really good fight, and I had lots of targets to try and kill and take out. So immediately the first thing I lock up was the Thrasher, because I thought that that would be the most DPS coming out of this side. So if I can get that Thrasher out the way quickly, then their DPS is going to be pretty minimal. Now I'm using the warriors instead of the ogres and my mixed bunch set of drones that I've got, because obviously the warriors are going to do a lot more damage to the frigs because they're going to be able to track it and hit the frigs a lot better. So always use sort of warriors against frigs, I find. But yeah, as you can see, I'm just slowly brawling them down. I've got 5 there, or 4 now, as I've just taken that one out, and also in a bit another one warps in. I think a cormorant comes in a bit as well, so I'm just trying to kill as many of them as I can. My tank's holding up okay, and I'm not too worried about that, so all I've got to do is just focus. They're all trying to keep close, so I'm going for the closest ones first. The ones that are orbiting outside of my scram range, they're going to be a little bit difficult. As you can see, they're also getting reps from the Inquisitor frigate that is there, and I haven't really noticed this at the moment, but the amount of reps that he's given isn't enough to stop my DPS punching through their tanks anyway, so it didn't really matter that I didn't see that. So that's the second one down now. And you know, I'm loving this. I'm in my element here, having sort of 6 people against me trying to kill me, and okay, yeah, they're in frigs, but it's still great fun knowing that there's 6 people there probably in their comms going, come on, let's get him, and what's going wrong, and someone else going, oh no, I'm down, and warping out, and them going, come on, just keep on him, we'll kill him, and then I'm just slowly plucking away at them, killing each one at a time. I find that when I start playing and I get into a situation like this, my head moves closer and closer towards the screen as I start trying to concentrate on what's going on. I don't know if anyone else does that. So I'm just on to my 5th ship now, the Cormorant, which I locked up before. As you can see, the other Tristan is keeping his range at sort of 17-19 kilometers there, so I'm going to have a little trouble getting him. He's already in the kind of running away mode, and I try and get him a little bit now towards the end, but he does manage to get away. But killing 5 out of 6 ships isn't bad, and I was really happy with that. So I hope you enjoyed this episode with the Vexor. I think it's really good ship. The tank that you can get on it is absolutely amazing. I'm looking at some other ships on what to use next. I want to kind of stick to cruisers because it's perfect price range for me, and I seem to be able to get in a lot of good fights with it. But I was trying to look at nano ships and stabbers and stuff like that, but I'm not sure whether they still work at the moment. Put in the comments if you've got any good sort of nano fittings or kiting fittings that I could give a go, because I've kind of done the armor now. I want to give the kiting a go and sort of orbiting at 18-20 kilometers around them. Anyway, till next time, fly safe.